So today we're going to start with the podcast. We have a special guest. His name is KidEight. He's a digital artist from the UK. He's also a local lad. I'd like to welcome him to the stage. If everyone give him a little round of applause, please. And it's a bit shady.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the NFT Talks podcast. This is the first NFT Talks podcast live, and we're at the Digital Future of NFT Talks. Welcome, brother. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. And thanks for asking me when I was drunk to do it. Caught me off guard a bit.
Well, I had to find out who you were first. That was the mission, is to identify who you are and tracking you down. But before we actually get into it, I think a lot of people want to understand a bit about yourself, your background first of all, and how you actually got into doing art, because I think it's really interesting because you've got skin in the game, if you put it that way, yeah?
Yeah. So the last 15, 16 years, I've been a freelance graphic designer in the music industry. So I've done album covers, mixtapes, merch rollouts, like for platinum selling rappers. I've worked with Future, I've worked with Chris Brown, Snoop Dogg. I've done some mixtapes for Fabulous. Literally, I've got platinum records, I've got gold records, and I was just like the go-to guy for a lot of it's like record labels and like management companies, like mainly in Atlanta. So I was just, like plugged in really early with the right people, and it's just through word of mouth, just managed to build up a name for myself as someone who was reliable. Like if you needed work quick and efficiently, I was the guy.
So when did you actually get into digital fashion, like digital creating in that way?
With digital, I mean, I've always been digital because mixtapes, obviously, and album artwork, you create on a computer. So it's just a progression from that. But I mean, I was creating very early on. I had a cracked version of Photoshop 5 when I was like 12 or something, and it's just been a progression from there.
Okay, you've been creating, you've got skin in the game, you're doing well on that point. I think it comes to the point of like actually introducing the space, the NFT space, and learning about that. So I mean, I'd like to really find out when did the penny drop for you? When did you hear about it? And then when did the penny drop for you to what it was and when you entered the space?
Yeah. So I heard about NFTs, like it would have been probably 13 months ago, so like last November or whatever. And I just had a friend we had mutual friends who was like getting into the space quite early on, and they had like nifty drops. And he was like, have you heard of NFTs? And I was like, no. So I did some research and found out it's like tokenizing artwork on the blockchain.
How much research did you do? Like, this is something important you need to
I did
stress.
I did like 2 hours, and I was like, right, I'm all in, let's go. Like, so I did that. And it was just like, I'm joking really, because it's like I had to look at the different platforms. So I was like, at the time, it was Nifty was like popping off because it was like the only one where you could pay fiat. You didn't actually need crypto to be able to buy these NFTs. Mm-hmm. So I applied for Nifty, applied for Super Rare, which is like a really curated, high-end NFT platform. And then I was looking at Rareable as well, because there was no there was no cost to entry. Like anyone could mint anything on Rareable, like similar to OpenSea, but I just like the UI of Rareable a bit more. It's a bit more user-friendly, and it just seemed a bit like cooler. So yeah, I applied for all these platforms, and I didn't get anything. Like Nifty basically came back and said, you're not relevant in the space. Like, come back when you've got a bit more of a fan base. Because at the time, I didn't even have Twitter or anything.
So when was this? How soon was it? What date would you say? Like month?
That was December. That was literally
Okay.
December last year. They said, no, come back. And then I applied Super Rare and got aired. Didn't hear anything back. So for me, I had like a chip on my shoulder about all the curated platforms. I was like, well, fuck these guys. Like, did they not know who I am? No, I'm joking, but no. So I was like, right, I'm going to build a community. I'm going to build something. So I jumped on Twitter because I had friends that were on Nifty and on Super Rare, and they were saying the way to connect with collectors is through Twitter, because it's like it was very early on, but like now it's a given that Twitter's like crypto native. Like everyone, if you're into crypto, Twitter's the place to be. So yeah, I just went from there and just allowed myself to just create. So I took my foot off the pedal as far as freelancing and doing client work. So I was just trying to create work for me.
Okay, so when did it really take off for you? Because obviously you've had so much success. I mean, that much success that I didn't think you were from the UK.
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
I followed you and I thought you was a US artist.
Yeah.
Just because of how big you were within the space. Until obviously I seen an interview and whatnot and clocked on. But yeah, so when did it actually start, when you start seeing the momentum? Because you mentioned before nobody was really paying attention to you.
Yeah, do you know what? It was like probably, I don't know, like February, March time. And it's like I started shit posting on Twitter, just like making silly jokes and whatever. But twinning it with my artwork. So I was like showing artwork every day, but also just making stupid tweets or whatever. And it just sort of resonated with a section of Twitter and collector base, and just went from there. But it was around the time that I sort of started creating the evil character that something just like a switch flipped, and everyone was like, they wanted to know more about me, like what caused me to create this, and who is this, like what the fuck is all this about? And it was just like then. So I think that iteration of evil was like April time. So from April to now, it's just been, the trajectory has just been up.
Yeah, so tell me about the process of creating that, because that's like an iconic image. Like that's not anyone KidEight. You saw that picture, like everyone knows it's you, innit?
Yeah,
so
man. Yeah, no. So the actual character itself, I started playing with like 3 years ago, because I used to do graffiti and like street art, and it was like had this stencil of it was a cherub ski mask, but he had a super soaker, like, and it was that, and then I did another one, and it was just like playing with the idea of duality. Like the whole thing about him is like he's a cherub, he's the closest thing to God. They're pure innocence, but then you juxtapose it with the ballet and like all the chains, like because he's heavily inspired by hip hop and everything. And then you've got the hate one side and then the love backwards, and that's where it's all about duality. The character, he's born, and it's like it's me basically. It's like childhood trauma and like fucking all these things that happen to you just in life. Like so, I think that's what like the people that it resonates with, they all sort of see it. It's like one of them. It's sort of an unspoken thing, but everybody sees something different in him. He's like a mirror. That's how I see him anyway. Yeah,
I feel it's a strong character, and I think I do feel that people connect it with in different ways. And I think the hip hop side of it is that's what I really took to. Yeah. Is that's what I connected with. But so you say it's a reflection of yourself? Would you say? Much?
I think. Well, I mean, everything about him is me. It's just like a version of me, but everybody sees something different in him, which is, I think, it's quite funny. I mean, you look at a Bored Ape or whatever, and I don't think there's that. There's not as much personality, and I don't know if it's the eyes or something, but yeah.
Yeah. So what I want to ask you to is, I want you to explain the journey. I think that's important, because you've had like real good success within the space, from going from pretty much nobody in the space to being somebody, and then also talk about, obviously, everyone wants success, the finances and whatnot. Like, so tell me about that journey from putting your first design out there, your NFT, to getting your first sale, and then the momentum after that, to talk about how quick the NFT space is growing.
Yeah, I mean, it's on steroids. It's 100 miles an hour. So I minted my first one, I want to say January this year, and it sold for like 0.25 ETH.
So how much is that in fiat? Because not everyone's going to know that. You have to translate that.
Back then, I don't know. ETH was at like, one ETH was about £900 back then, so I don't know, about 250 quid or something.
250 quid?
Yeah, for my first one back then.
Okay.
And then that same one sold, like, I think last month or the month before, for 25 ETH, like on the secondary.
25 ETH on secondary?
Yeah, and I think ETH was like $4,000 at the time, $4,000.
You did a quick maths?
Nah.
Anyone out there, quick maths? Shout out.
Yeah,
100K?
Yeah, about 100K.
Yeah, around 100K.
So the guy that brought my first NFT, like he came up basically, but he saw the potential in me as an artist and what I was creating, so hats off to him.
Yeah, so then talk about more, because obviously that's just one part of it. Like, but tell me about, obviously, the Gevos.
Yeah, so the Gevos thing was like, so I created this collection like of evil, and it was like I started with 50 like different variations handmade.
One of one pieces, yeah,
because I was trying to build the community in like collector base, and it was literally my first evils came out the same week as Bored Apes did. So it was like, it was like just a way of people collecting my art, but for cheap. Do you know what I mean? Because I put them all on Rareable for like 24-hour auctions at 0.1 ETH. Like that was a reserve. And then after the 24 hours, they all sold. And I think the average price was like 0.3 ETH. So I was like really fucking happy, like 50 times 0.3. It was like good. I think the first drop, the highest sale was 2 ETH. And I was like, this is cool, man. And then more and more people were seeing them and wanting them, but there was only ever going to be 50. So then I did 50 more. And it just sort of...
But that's a unique thing about NFTs, isn't it? The scarcity. That's
drives
the space, isn't it?
But also, like with that, the other side of that is if you're trying to build a community, there's only ever going to be 100 people if you've only got 100 pieces, sort of thing. So I was like, I want to grow this, because everyone was like, I want an evil, but they've been priced out. Because by that time, the second series, the average sale was like 4 ETH or something. So people were priced out, and I was like, right, I'm going to do a generative because people want them. And I also wanted to use, like, me as an artist, I wanted to use the idea of the smart contract as part of the art. So like the fact that all the traits and everything, like I sort of took the piss out of a lot of the other collections because I don't know, there was just so many coming, like literally, I think at one point there's like 500 profile pictures like a week. It's so hard to cut through, but I already had somewhat of an established collector base and community, so I was like, people are gonna, if I resigned myself to like, if it takes a week or a month to sell out, it's fine.
Yeah.
I could never really anticipate what happened. It sold out in under 10 minutes, and we had 3 DDoS attacks, China, Russia, and India. It's like, it was something like 60 million hits in the hour on the website. It was just fucking insane. And like during this whole time, people are on Twitter were like accusing me of backdooring and like selling stuff. And it was like, I was just in pure disbelief because I was like, this is my life's work. And there's just all these narratives going around that I'm like a shady guy, and I'm not. Yeah. Like he says, wearing a ski mask. But yeah, so it was weird. So everyone sees like ETH as like success. So I'm looking at the Ether scan with like the balancing from the sellout, and I was like, I've never felt so down in my life. I was just so fucking depressed because I was like, this is my life's work, and people are just, it's just a commodity for some people. Like people were coming and flipping, and like during the sellout and the reveal, I think it was like 40 minutes, and people were flipping them for like 10 ETH. So they were minting them at 0.1, flipping them for 10 ETH, and then it was just fucking insane because
crazy. So people making thousands within like.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the level of entitlement of the NFT, a section of the NFT community during that sort of period. It was like, it's just so disheartening for me, but luckily we've come out the other side of it now, and like the community is really strong, and like the eyes on the project and the stuff that's coming next year, I'm like really excited about. So I might as well say now, I just did a free airdrop for all the holders. So like I airdropped everyone NFTs just based because they've got these, so they got them for free. And in the airdrop, we've released like a single. So next year we're bringing out a mixtape. Evil's like an avatar rapper. Like we've got really sick backing, like really sick producers and vocal talent. So
any big artists on there, or
I can't say at the moment, but there are some collabs and like some really sick producers that want to like join up. But yeah, but the airdrop was the first time that music has played part in the traits of the rarity, because like anyone that's collecting NFTs, they want the rarest one. They like, do you know what I mean? They want the rarest. They want the thing that's the most scarce, as you were saying. So I chopped the track into 6 parts and put them and twinned them with 8,000 individual album covers. So I created, same way I did the Evil, I generated 8,000 unique covers. So the imagery and the audio play part in the rarity traits, which hasn't been done yet. And that was given away for free. And I mean, to now, the secondary trading volume is only like 15 ETH or whatever in the week. But the way I see it is like any independent music artist that's trying to get money through streams on Spotify and stuff, it would take them, they would need millions and millions of streams just to make what we've made in a week. And he's not even a rapper, do you know what I mean? It's just, because my history with the music industry, I sort of pitched this idea early on, and they just couldn't get it. And then you look at like rappers and labels now, like they're doing all these pump and dump things. Like Uzi did one, like he did a massive rug, and now we've had Takeoff from Migos is like done Apes in Space, and it's like, what's that got to do with you and your community and your sort of fan base?
Explain that a little bit more for the audience to understand where you're coming from, because obviously, like I said, some people may not have been in the space at all. So you're saying the celebrities are coming into the space, artists, and what do you think, if you're creating an NFT as a creative, what do you think people should be doing, the approach that people should be taking?
Well, I think if you're an artist, it's got to be about authenticity. You've got to do it for the right reasons. Like it's so easy to give an influencer 5 ETH for them to pump your project, so it looks like they're really invested. But that is the whole point of decentralization and the technology behind NFTs, is to circumnavigate the old ways of thinking, in my opinion. Like we're as creatives for the first time, I think in our generation, we're allowed to experiment, but also create new normals. Like, so the old way of thinking, like gallery systems and just pay for play, like we don't have to do that any longer, in my opinion. I'm probably way off.
I agree.
Yeah.
So go back to what you were saying about the artists now and whatnot, and not doing it right.
Oh, right. No, I just think it's so bait, because it's like A$AP Rocky did a Nifty drop in the summer and it completely flopped. He's a rapper and he didn't release any music as an NFT. So it's like, they didn't even credit the visual artist either. Like, there's so many things that I think the music industry are doing wrong if they're trying to break into NFTs. So that's what I'm trying to sort of not create a blueprint, but just show them, if you're trying to make a legitimate way through NFTs, bring to the table what you do. Yeah. Like, I don't want an ape that Takeoff says one of us will go to space or something. Like, what's that got to do with anything?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that. I mean, it's a case of like I said, having the right intentions when you're going to the space and having a reason why you're creating this NFT. I feel that with the music industry, you've got a few approaches. You've got obviously a different way to connect to your audience, or obviously for an artist is obviously transparency and owning your tracks or the beats and whatnot. So that's what I think the positives are for, and it gives the audience a chance to support the artists that they've been following. Like, I think you've probably got a hardcore following now, haven't you?
Yeah.
So I think that's something that's important. That if you take the right approach, you'll get the rewards.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So rather than taking the money approach first.
Yeah.
And then.
Well, that's the other thing as well. You talk about the money. Like, you can't do anything with ETH. You just literally can't do anything with it. Like, my accountant will not let me draw any out. I hope no one's from the revenues and customs.
You get a good accountant.
Yeah, I'm literally. Everyone thinks that I'm really successful because I've like made some ETH this year, but the reality is it's not really done anything. Like, I haven't taken anything.
Okay, so you've got all the ETH stacked up.
Yeah.
And you can't do nothing with it.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, miserable.
Okay. You need to get a better accountant then, innit?
Huh?
You need to get a better accountant.
I do. Yeah, I was watching this.
Someone out here. Yeah. All right, and so. Okay, so what I want you to do is kind of, since we're talking about NFTs, I want you to kind of give maybe a blueprint tips for either a creative, an artist, or a musician, when who's looking to enter the space, that is just kind of getting into it, hasn't got much knowledge about blockchain, hasn't got any knowledge about NFTs, doesn't really understand what's going on. How would you explain it? And what tips would you give to an artist to what things to do first?
Okay, I don't really understand blockchain myself, really, but no, I think as an artist right now, it's really hard. Like, the space is so new, but so much has like transpired in the last year that stuff that was that was relevant January last year, like, is no longer relevant now. So it moves so quick. I think you've got to stay on your toes, and you've just got to you've literally got to just invest so much time researching and just making sure that you're ahead of everything. So I think as a visual graphic artist trying to get into space, you need to look at other blockchains like Tezos, where it's the barrier to entry is a lot cheaper. So it's like you can mint something on the Tezos blockchain for like under a penny. Yeah. Which on ETH, depending on how busy the blockchain is, it can be anywhere between hundreds and thousands of dollars. So yeah, I think an artist, you've got to come through, and it's all about building community and building like collector bases, because you've got, the way I sort of looked at it early on was like seeing myself as a store of value, and everything that I was creating, like, people will buy it if it will go up in value and they think that they can make profits out of it. So there's layers of like gamification that you can add in, and it's like you've got to create FOMO. People have got to want to buy into you as a creator. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You could, like, think of yourself as a crypto asset in itself, and then that sort of, once you can think of that rather than just, I'm just going to mint some artwork and if it sells, it sells. Like, everyone at the end of the day wants to make money. Like, there are like angel investors that want to help you and help your brand and move forward. But the reality is, everyone in the crypto space right now is for money. So you've got to just see yourself as something that holds value, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think education is a massive part. Hence why we're putting on this event and having people like yourself speaking, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong. I mean, have you had any bad experiences, whether you buying an NFT or the crypto alongside? I mean, if you can share that and talk about the don'ts, as much as we talk about the do's and what we need to do, to talk about what shouldn't you do, what should you look out for within the space. Yeah, so I've never bought an NFT that's gone up in value. Like, I'm so bad at buying NFTs. Like, did you ever hear of Super Yetis? Super Yetis?
Super Yetis. No. You never heard of Super Yetis?
Super Yetis?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I was like, I had friends that were like, buy these Yetis, these are going to go up, and they below floor within half an hour or something. So yeah, I think you've just got to do it with conviction. And if you are buying NFTs, you've got to remember, like, I might never get this value back. So make sure you're buying something that you like something that you're going to look at and think, even if this is worth nothing, I still enjoy it. And it's like, I don't mind holding onto it for years. But there's different ways of playing it, because like the whole NFT space, it is quite gambly. There's a lot of like degenerate gamblers in the space, like in the profile picture game and stuff. So if you watch the right people, you can make quick flips and stuff. But I come from the side of an artist. Like, I'm pro artist. I'm all about raising up awareness of other artists. So I think just buy stuff with conviction that you like more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you get a lot of people, and as I do, and people in the room asking you, how do I make money?
Yeah.
How do I make money in this? There's lots of money in it. How do I make money? I mean, what advice would you give to somebody? What do you even say to the people like that ask them questions? I mean, by all means, I mean, if I didn't understand the space, I'd probably ask a question myself. But like you said, it's kind of like we're in a position where we're in limbo. Is there a way to make money? It's all a gamble at this point, but there's a lot of opportunity. We're at the point of building.
Yeah.
And if you're a builder and you want to create opportunities and build things in this space, this is the perfect time. And
Definitely.
It could work out for you if you're persistent and it's a good idea and you know what you're doing. But there's also a gamble that it doesn't. That's like in the real world.
I think just you got to have a long frame mindset. Like, if you buy ETH today and you leave it a year, it's going to be worth more. If you leave it 4 years, it's going to be worth more. Like, look at Bitcoin 4 years ago. It's like, just chill out. Just like buy something, wait a couple of times. Like, you don't buy a house and expect it to 10x overnight. Like, there's no other industry that I can think you can put money in and it's going to 10x overnight legitimately. So like, the technology's not going anywhere. Like, the blockchain and people coming into NFTs, it's only getting more abundant. Just chill. Like, buy something with conviction, wait. Just buy Ethereum, buy Bitcoin, all these things that like aren't really going to go anywhere. And just wait, I think.
Okay, so leading on to that, NFTs not going anywhere, blockchain's not going anywhere. Obviously, you're in the art space. The art space is spearheading the NFT space, but a lot of people may think NFTs is just art.
Yeah.
It isn't. NFTs are technology. So tell me, what other industries are you interested in and you're excited about, whether it's digital fashion, gaming, music, real estate, all these things NFTs can disrupt?
Yeah. So I'm not a massive gamer, but I know for a fact that the gaming NFTs is just going to take off next year. I think that'll probably be the next big boom, anything gaming and NFT, because everybody's excited about it and everyone's trying to figure out the best way to get into it. So I think gaming and anything with gaming and anything with NFT connected is going to take off. But yeah, I'm interested in digital fashion, but especially with like the metaverse, the meta announcement. It's like there's a massive hole at the moment for something that bridges all the different. So you've got Decentraland, you've got Crypto Voxels, you've got Sandbox, all these different metaverses. There's nothing that bridges them all. So like, I created some masks for Decentraland. They don't work in Crypto Voxels.
So interoperable.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that it's in the work, but it's still so early that it's a bit janky and a bit rough around the edges. So, I don't know. I keep saying we're so early because we are. Like, nobody. There is. If anyone tells you they know what they're talking about, they're full of shit. No one really has a clue what's going on.
No, I say
so you can try and guide people.
Expert. You learn every day. Yeah. So things change. So I agree with that, man. So so you talked on the metaverse. You talked about digital fashion. Obviously, everyone may have heard the announcement with Facebook, Meta, metaverse, big word flying around right about now. What's your thoughts of how things may look in the next, say, 5 to 10 years? With the metaverse, whether it's virtual reality or AR or so on. So
my personal views on that is like, we can't all just be like sat down with Oculus strapped to our heads 24 hours a day. Like, it's going to be like something off Black Mirror. So I think there's going to be a point where the real world and the physical realm sort of has to come together with AR and VR and all these things where it's sustainable, because we can't just, not everything can be online, not everything can be on the chain. Like, we still need real life experiences. We still need, there's nothing like holding a physical thing in your hand. And it's like, it's just going to be a weird balancing act, I think, the next couple of years. But ultimately, we're not all just going to be sat in our bedrooms with Oculus. Like,
well, you say that, but I think I'm sure if everyone checks their phones and how long they're spending their phones, whether it's glued to a screen, that is, as Web 2.0, we do partly live in the metaverse already, which is going to be more immersive and actually experiencing.
Well, I imagine there's going to be some sort of like AR, VR, not like headset, but like glasses, like Google glasses.
Snapchat's already bringing that out.
Something like that, where you can just like through head-up display see what's in someone's wallet, or just see who they are on Twitter, or like all these sort of things. I think that's more likely than us just plugging into the mainframe and never speaking in real life.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So let's go back onto a bit more about yourself. Exciting news, things that are happening. Obviously, you was out in Miami, Basel. tell me anything going on, anything you can talk about?
Do you know, I'm under a lot of NDAs I can't even really talk about. Like if this was in 2 weeks, I probably could tell you a bit more, but
I'll release it in 2 weeks. Everyone else take it a secret here.
No, I can't do that. No, I don't know. I'm excited about a lot of stuff. So it's just so bizarre for me. From like literally 12 months ago, I was still freelancing and had all these ideas, but no one took me seriously. And now I'm being like taken out for dinner by the head of like Universal and the head of WMG. Like all these people call to me for my ideas. So it's a bit fucking mad, to be honest. But hopefully it's not a top signal. Like I hope it's not like everyone making a mistake. But yeah, I'm not going anywhere. The next 12 months for me are going to be quite big. Like, so there's a lot of verticals moving forward for me. So Evil Empire is like, we've got the music side, we're doing animation, we've got the merch, and then we've got like me as a person. I'm sort of pushing myself out there more in like, as a personality, because everyone says they enjoy me speaking or whatever. But the weirdest thing, actually, I don't even know if I can really talk about it.
Go on.
I don't know, man.
Go on, a bit of pressure.
No, I can't do it. Sorry, no, that's really bait, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Change subject. Sorry.
All right, we got a bit serious there, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool then. So you can't talk about that, but there's amazing opportunities going on at this point. Obviously, music and whatnot. How do you see, I want to ask you a question, how do you see things in the next 10 years? Waking up in the morning, I want you to describe your life in the next 10 years.
My life?
Yeah, your life with NFTs, all the technology that's happening, whether it's through music or transport or access to events. Like, talk me through a day, wake up in the morning, how you visualize things will be using this immersive technology and NFTs.
I'll be dead in 10 years.
That's a bit more.
No, I'm joking. No, I don't know, man. That's a mad one. If I'm being totally honest, in 10 years, I'd like to just be on a private island somewhere with no technology, just off by myself. No, but I don't know. It's self-driving cars. I don't know. It's like, who the fuck knows, man? That's such a mad question to ask me. You could have asked me before I could have prepared something.
You know what? Ask yourself, because you're in the space. The reason why I ask you, because you're in the space. You're seeing these things happen. I mean, we're talking about the success that's happened over a period of like, what, 5, 6 months?
6, 7 months, yeah.
No,
to answer that, I think everything will be on chain. Like, your mortgage will be on chain. There's a lot of industries that will need to be, like, refocused and reformatted, I think. Like, because the thing is with smart contracts and the technology behind them is, like, it cuts out so many middlemen and so many people will be losing jobs. So a lot of industries, I think, are going to have to restructure. And, it's a mad time. It's like... we are at the beginning of Web 2.0 now. It's like the things that are being built and brands that are being created and people that are pushing themselves forward. You've got the next Amazons and the next eBays being formed right now. So yeah, it's a mad time. But also, like, with the technology and like flipping it on the art side, I see it as adjacent to like the beginning of pop art in the 80s, like the Andy Warhols, the Basquiats, the Keith Herrings, like all these people, and now they're putting themselves forward. Like there's no reason that in like 10, 20 years or whatever, one of my pieces won't be next to a Basquiat or something. Like these are all things that I think are going to happen. I mean, look at People. He sold for more than Jeff Koons in a sum of 70 million, and then the other week he sold for more. And then you've got young artists like Ferocious, who people are already saying is like the next. Who are they comparing him to now, man? Warhol, maybe. But yeah, there's so many. It's just a mad time right now, just absolute mad, and we will look back in 10, 20 years and this will never be replicated, this moment in time, in my opinion.
For real. Advice time for people again. Is there anything out there, NFT-wise, that you've got your eye on? I mean, you said you're a bit shit about NFTs, but anything, projects, friends, the artwork, anything that you think is amazing that you think maybe that no one knows about or isn't out yet, that you can give people kind of heads up to what's going to go and look at?
Do you know, I'm so dialed in what I'm doing. I'm so like out the loop with everything else. I know Artifact just dropped and like they're revealing soon. But yeah, I don't know. Let me think. I don't know. I think what
about your recent? You've done some collabs, haven't you? Some collaborations.
Yeah, I do collabs all the time. Yeah, that's the thing. There's so many talented artists. The moment I mention one, my DMs are full of people saying, "Why didn't you say me?" Like, so yeah, it's best for me to stay neutral. But
okay, maybe it's better. Okay, I understand. Maybe it's better to mention the collabs then. Some of the collabs, amazing artists that you've worked with, that you've done collabs with on your work already.
I'm completely spacing already, to be honest.
You've done collabs with
I've done. I've got some stuff with Bill Ellis coming. on the next Evils drop, X-Solo, Jason Ebayer from Australia. Like, there's so many. The thing is as well, like all the artists in the space are so collaborative. I think because none of us are doing freelance work anymore, we've got more time to work with like, one another. Like shout out to Defaced. Defaced is probably If I had to give you one recommendation of an artist to buy, it'd be Defaced. He's like a 21-year-old lad, most screwed on, so talented, and he's got like this character, and like to me he's the next big blue chip artist. If I had to go all in on one artist, it'd be Defaced.
Okay, so you heard it there first, guys. Write it down, Defaced.
Yeah, he looks like Grinder from People Just Say Nothing. Like literally just spit.
Nah, he's a cool guy. He's just chilled.
Yeah, he's so chilled. He's
chilled.
backwards. He's like that. Yeah, man, he's mad. But yeah, that's who I'd shout out definitely.
So rounding it up, where can people find you? Where can people find your work? Where can they contact you? I know obviously you're not. Well, in fact, before we get into it, why do you choose to be anonymous?
Oh, because I'm ugly. Now, do you know
You're
what?
do you know
what it was? When I was freelancing, it was just I always hid behind a logo because I wanted it to always be the focus was the work, not me. And working in the music industry, I was like this white guy from England, and I was doing all like working with all these trap artists like Gucci Mane and all this. Like, I thought if the optics, I didn't know what the optics were, so I was like, fuck it, hide behind the logo. And then when I came onto Twitter, everyone's like, you can't just have a logo. It's like people want to know a bit more about you. So I just threw on the mask because of evil, and I was like, it's a weird one, so I'm anonymous. So I'm anonymous online because I wear the mask, but then I come in here, if I was to wear the mask, I just stand out. Like, it's mad. So it's a weird duality I'm sort of on the knife edge of. But yeah, I think, and also like a lot of people in crypto are anonymous just because of...
Yeah, that's the nature of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a dangerous game.
Okay, so you're back to where can we find you then? So online-wise, where can people reach out to you?
Twitter _KidEight and then Instagram KidEight, and then there's links to like Discord and stuff like that. But yeah, my Evils collection, I'm in the Discord daily and like talking to collectors and like giving out bits of alpha and announcements here and there. So yeah, man. I mean, don't only follow me if you're like you're not that.
Is crap at getting back to you?
Huh?
You're crap at getting back to people.
I'm crap at getting back to people, yeah. But don't like follow me if you're sensitive because some of my content's a bit on the edge sometimes.
Oh yeah.
I've been cancelled a couple of times this year, but yeah.
Well, made it back.
Yeah, of course, man.
All right, well, bro, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having
your time. I'm sure. Before we end it, actually, is anybody got any questions that they'd like to ask? I'll come out there. Anyone to put any hands up? Happy to answer a question, yeah? Okay then, cool. Let me get down there.
2 questions, really.
Yep.
Top 5 tokens of next year that you're looking out for?
I'm not giving financial advice. No way. Sorry, mate.
All right. Second question. All right. You went to Art Basel, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about EYLs and 90 Keys theory when it comes to NFTs?
I haven't heard it. Tell me.
Well, 90 Keys is like he spoke about this maybe about a year ago about the NFTs and like how it's gonna change the world when it comes to the HoloLens and everything, and saying like it's gonna be more addictive, like when it comes to the metaverse, like more than phones, like 14 times. So do you think that that's true?
Probably, because anything that's got money behind it, monetary value, so people can make money from it. I think if NFTs ever like become more accessible, like NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain become more accessible, a bit more mainstream, because everyone's been priced out. So I think because there's so much money involved in them, they are addictive. It's like you've got, I think right now, I know there's people like that are putting their rent and their mortgages on buying NFTs, and then when they don't sell overnight, they're then selling at a loss. Like, that's not normal behavior, and you wouldn't get that on your phone or where. Like, I think there is a weird space at the moment, weird position we're in, I think. But
yeah, I'd like to add to that, man. Yeah, I think it's crazy FOMO.
Yeah.
Like I think it can affect the way the NFT space started, where everything drops, happen every minute.
Yeah.
Trying to get there to make sure you get the drop and that.
Yeah.
Just a lot of pressure. It was like, I mean, I wasn't involved with a lot of the drops, but even when I was trying to get involved, it was stress. Like, and if you miss out and you didn't get on the whitelist, sorry, and so on. It's crazy. So yeah, there is that part of it.
But early on, it wasn't like that. I think like when the apes came out, I think they took all weekend to mint. They were 0.08.
Yeah.
But now people see apes selling for 100 and whatever each.
I regret that
just
day.
Ridiculous. I mean, I was there on Saturday, like OpenSea. I was like trying to buy on the secondary. I was like, I don't like these. Like, I just don't think these are good. And I couldn't decide which one I wanted, so I just left it. And then they got to 1 ETH floor and then 4. And then I almost bought in at 7. I was like, I still don't like these. And now, yeah, but you got to live with
You can live with it, innit? If you didn't like it, you can live with it. But yeah, I think it was a great question, man. Thank you. You got one more question over there? All right, then. 1 second.
Hey, man. So you started on ETH chain, right?
Yeah.
Do you intend to continue on that? And if so, why?
Yeah, I think, well, I'm still doing stuff on ETH, but the airdrop I told you about was on Polygon. It's like a layer 2 solution. But I think ETH will be, I think just it's always going to be here. Like, there's other blockchains like Tezos, but Tezos, I think, like ultimately will just be another layer 2 to ETH, because it's always just going to be the strongest blockchain, in my opinion. Like, all these ones that are saying they're going to come and kill ETH, like Cardano and Polygon, I just can't see them ever just killing it. So yeah, I think if you're thinking long term, ETH is the one to mint on and collect on as well, maybe.
Good, thanks. One more question, bro.
Nice.
Hi. So it's a similar question to the young man who just asked the question, which was outside of Ethereum blockchain, which are your preferable chains to mint on, and also which marketplaces as well?
Yeah, so Tezos, definitely, just because it's the point of entry is so easy. But also, like, the collector base there are a lot more welcoming. They're there for the art rather than flips. I mean, there is money to be made on Tezos, but they all seem to be like long-term collectors. But there was a platform called, I just say Hen because I can't pronounce it. It's like Latin, Hic Nunc or something. But like the owner of that recently just robbed the whole thing because he was a bit of a megalomaniac. But there's others that have popped up in its place. I think it's Object. OBJKT, so that's a good one. So I would recommend Tezos blockchain for anyone trying to get into NFTs, and then once you've got a community and a collector base, go on to Ethereum because the risks are a lot less on Tezos.
Perfect. Well, I'd like to round it up. If everyone can give KidEight a round of applause for today, thanks.
Thank you. Cheers.
It's been a pleasure, bro. Thanks for coming down.